Welcome to the opening contest of this pre-show of New Beginnings 3. The first pay-per-view we've actually done in this entire year since Final Hunt 2. 3 or whatever one we were on, I forget, to be completely honest. And the first one to come out is a dude who I honestly half expected not to show up tonight. So in fact, he got ran down by a car, presumably driven by either Joker or Sweet Tooth, or M. Bison, or somebody in Shadowloo, this past Tuesday at the end of Underground. Captain Pollution. Honestly, even though I still don't like him because he's still a bit of a dick, freaking Pollution, you have my respect. The fact that he actually showed up after getting ran down by a car. Freaking. That impresses me, Pollution, even for somebody like you. Then again, Pollution is a tough son of a bitch, considering the fact he's the longest running intergalactic champion we've ever had. Both times that he held that belt. So, it doesn't surprise me at all that Pollution's a tough son of a bitch, but he is definitely not 100% going into this match. And here comes the son of a bitch that freaking is more than likely the one who ran him down in the car, Sweet Tooth, who recently joined Shadowloo, and apparently his initiation involved trying to take out Pollution when he was trying to call out M. Bison and Joker a while back. Same with Green Goblin, but Pollution beat Goblin, and I guess Joker recruited his longtime CWO friend, turned enemy, and I guess they're friends again, at least in this universe. It was a Sweet Tooth's first match in quite a while. I can't remember the last time Sweet Tooth had a match in LWW, but he's back now, and he's looking to probably finish what he started if he really was the one that ran down Pollution in the car. And let's get this opening pre-show contest underway. Headlock by Sweet Tooth. Knee to the midsection of Pollution by Sweet Tooth. And already going for Laughing Death DDT. And Sweet Tooth going for a cover. One. Only a one count. Pollution blocks the punch there. Sweet Tooth blocks the chop. Barely grazed him with that clothesline attempt there. And now Sweet Tooth just hoisting up by his leg and just slamming Pollution down. Now Sweet Tooth with a headlock, Pollution, but he gets out of it with his own headlock on Sweet Tooth, whips him in the corner, running shoulder tackle by Pollution there to Sweet Tooth. And now Pollution just grinding his boot against Sweet Tooth's throat. Knowing Sweet Tooth, he's that fucked up in the head, he probably liked it. Body slam by Pollution to Sweet Tooth there, and an elbow drop. And now Pollution with an armbar on Sweet Tooth into a headlock again. And Sweet Tooth gets out of it, slams him face first into the ring. And now Sweet Tooth setting up either for a chokeslam or a second Laughing Death DDT. And a second Laughing Death DDT to Pollution by Sweet Tooth. The Sweet Tooth dragging from the ropes, going for a cover. 1, 2, and Pollution kicks out again. And now Sweet Tooth with an armbar on Pollution. He's probably pissed about the fact that Pollution's kicked out of 2 of his finishes. And a leg drop to the arm, my point. And another leg drop right across the throat into a chest area of Pollution, who is just right back up, and he is livid. Headlock by Sweet Tooth, and Pollution just tosses him off. And the Pollution with a headlock on Sweet Tooth, who slips out of his grasp there, and another leg drop. Just a stomp to the arm of Pollution there by Sweet Tooth. And now Pollution just punches Sweet Tooth off. Chop the chest of Sweet Tooth, and a drop kick by Pollution. And now Pollution, leaping clothesline by Pollution and Sweet Tooth. And now Pollution dragging Sweet Tooth in the corner. Oh god, now Pollution stealing Damian Sandow's thing, and with the douchey elbow. Still a douchebag, even though he's supposed to be a babyface. 1, only a 1 count. Now Pollution with the Force of Illusion to Sweet Tooth. I haven't seen that move in a while. Pollution drags him in the ropes. Going for covers, Pollution. 1, 2, and Sweet Tooth kicks out. Just pair punches, another punch down, a kick to the midsection of Sweet Tooth by Pollution. Knee to the chest of Sweet Tooth there repeatedly. Going for covers, Pollution. 1, only a 1 count. Drop kick again by Pollution at Sweet Tooth. And now Pollution had a punch there blocked by Sweet Tooth. Knee to the midsection of Pollution again by Sweet Tooth. Whoops him in the corner there. Almost said ropes. Oh god, now Sweet Tooth Going for a power bomb. Freaking pollution there. Going for a cover, Sweet Tooth. One. Only one count. And Sweet Tooth tried to go for punch there, pollution blocked it. Now going for a submission on Sweet Tooth. There's no way Sweet Tooth's tapping out to this. He's too stubborn. And he's an insane clown. And he's Josh again's favorite character from Twisted Metal. Lord knows if Sweet Tooth lost to a submission, freaking Josh would probably be pissed at me. Shout out to TAW, by the way. And pollution slamming Sweet Tooth's head against his knee or something here. Sorry, allergies. Calling elbow tap turn 2. Sean McCarty's gonna be happy about that. Into an armbar by pollution on Sweet Tooth. What? And the armbar submission by pollution on Sweet Tooth, but his foot was by the ropes there. Now pollution turning Sweet Tooth around here. Whips him in the corner. Missed the shoulder tackle there. There's pollution. Sweet Tooth moved out of the way. Knee to the face of pollution there in the corner by Sweet Tooth. And Sweet Tooth whipping pollution in the corner. Now whips him in the opposite corner for reasons, I guess. And pollution with a knee to the face of Sweet Tooth there, stopping him from going wherever he tried to go for there. And running shoulder tackle by pollution. Now just grinding his boot against Sweet Tooth's throat again. And now pollution dragging Sweet Tooth away from the ropes. For reasons, I guess. And now pollution going for that douchey elbow he likes to use again. And it nailed it. Now pollution go for cover. 1, 2, and pollution gets the win with the douchey elbow. Only pollution would win with an elbow drop like that. Eat your heart out, Damian Sandow. Again, there's a reason why you're on the NWA these days. Or a manager, I don't know. Pollution gets a bit of payback against Sweet Tooth. And a pretty good match to start off this pre-show. And the next match in this pre-show is Khal Drogo taking on Poseidon, taking on Kratos and Leonidas. Sorry. The tag team match. Because freaking Spartan Fury and Westeros have been feuding for a little while now. Because Leonidas is mad at Khal Drogo for ditching him for Poseidon. And then Leonidas went to Kratos and like, you want to reunite our old team from back in the day? Freaking since these guys want to reunite? Kratos was like, yep. And now we got a tag team match on the show. After they had a brawl in the backstage area on Underground. That match is going to be crazy. And it'll be a normal tag team match, by the way. It's not going to be a tornado tag. From what I've been told. And this is the next match on the pre-show. Where Westeros, the original pairing, reunites for the first time in years. And they'll be taking on another former Mag Nation team, who also were Mag Nation Tag Team Champions for quite a while. Spartan Fury. And this is Khal Drogo's first match in quite a while. And his first time having a match as a tag team with somebody. Since him and Leonidas didn't exactly work out, obviously. Now Khal Drogo's hoping that maybe if he teams up with his old friend Poseidon, it'll work out better. But who the hell knows? And I need to change that entrance motion for these guys. But either way, this whole match happened because Spartan Fury, Leonidas, and Kratos had a brawl with Westeros and Khal Drogo and Poseidon recently because Leonidas was pissed at Khal Drogo for turning his back on him when he freaking found out that Poseidon had joined the roster. So he went to Kratos when he first came up to the main roster from New Gen and was like, you want to team up again? And Kratos was like, yep. And so they beat the crap out of each other, both these teams in the back and Underground, and then this match was made. And my dog is still freaking chewing on herself because for reasons, I guess. I just looked behind me. But this match is going to be crazy. Seeing these two Mag Nation teams facing each other. I mean, insane, probably. This will be the first time Kratos has been in a tag team in quite some time. And Kratos just immediately running in, just fists flying at Khal Drogo. And dumping Kratos the outside as Khal Drogo. And I didn't even get to say, let's get this match started or whatever. And now Khal Drogo is dazed as Kratos gets back in the ring. And Khal Drogo an elbow to the face of Kratos there. And Kratos with his own elbow to the face of Khal Drogo there. And Kratos What in the world? Well, that's one way to do a slam there. And Kratos is just beating the crap out of Khal Drogo here. And Kratos with a suplex of Khal Drogo. And Kratos with just a straight kick to the back of Khal Drogo there. Son of the South, as he's called in other places. CIW specifically. Shout out to Sean. And a military press freaking gutbuster slam there by Kratos. Jesus Christ. Khal Drogo's a big son of a bitch, so the fact that Kratos has the strength to lift him up like that, though not really that surprising though, because, you know, I've seen him lift heavier shit in God of War games. And Kratos just slamming Khal Drogo down again. Khal Drogo is not used to people overpowering him, just having their way with him like this. And chop knocking down Kratos by Khal Drogo there. And here comes Poseidon, and these two have a history, in the God of War games at least. And also in the Mag Nation, because Poseidon buried Kratos after he destroyed Skeeter for the hardcore title. And Poseidon ended up taking the hardcore title from Kratos. And that's slammed there by Poseidon to Kratos. And a headbutt to the back of the head into a neck area of Kratos there by Poseidon. Now Kratos with a headlock on Poseidon. You know Kratos probably still pissed about that burial from Poseidon for the hardcore title. It was epic and funny at the same time. Especially but not as funny as when Skeeter was literally just levitating after that table spot. Shout out to Mag Nation, by the way. Miss you guys. And Kratos, and Leonidas just grabbing Poseidon while Kratos just slaps him in the face. Just reminding him of his feelings towards him from God of War. Now Poseidon tried to go for something there, but Kratos reversed it into a belly-to-back suplex. Now Kratos picking up Poseidon, clothesline knocking the god of the ocean down into the water. See, whatever. And Leonidas with just kicked the midsection of Poseidon, just look at him like, well, Poseidon just with an elbow to the face and kicked the midsection of his own. And now Poseidon with a headlock on Leonidas. And Leonidas missed whatever the hell that was. And now Leonidas with an elbow drop. Whatever the hell that was again by Leonidas. Now Poseidon back on the offensive with punches, but Leonidas blocked that one into a headlock of his own. And Poseidon slipped out of that one. Just a chop and pair of punches, and that one knocking him down. And now elbow drop to the leg of Leonidas there by Poseidon. And Poseidon just beating the crap with Leonidas with these punches and that chop. Now an armbar. And Leonidas with a knee to the midsection. Belly-to-belly suplex to the Greek god of the ocean by Leonidas. And now Poseidon missing with a kick. And another belly-to-belly suplex by Leonidas. Jesus Christ. Now Leonidas has Poseidon up for a freaking driver there. I forget what he called it. But that's usually Leonidas' signature before he sets up for This Is Sparta, which is that big bicycle kick that he likes to use. And now Leonidas whipping Poseidon in the ropes. Back, body drop, and just nailed him with that big boot to the face there. Now go for a cover is Leonidas, but Khal Drogo broke it up. Punches the Poseidon there by Leonidas, and a shot to the back. And Leonidas whipping Poseidon in the corner. Poseidon puts Leonidas in the corner. And Kratos with a back tag, and Leonidas is not happy about that. It has been quite some time since these two teamed together, so I wouldn't be surprised if Kratos and Leonidas still have some issues to work out. Now Khal Drogo is back in the ring, and now he's going out of Kratos and a headlock and a backbreaker to the Spartan. And now Kratos with a belly-to-belly suplex to Khal Drogo. And Leonidas is hyped in the corner, I saw that. And now Kratos is back up, and Khal Drogo just a kick in the midsection and try to go for a chop there. And now Khal Drogo whipping Kratos to the outside. And now Khal Drogo with a suplex to Kratos back in the ring. And now Kratos tripping up Khal Drogo. Just Khal Drogo just running into him like a battering ram. Now just slamming his head against the ring. And now Leonidas being like a pretty good tag team partner, unlike Darth Maul, and holding on to Khal Drogo so Kratos could deliver a headbutt to the face. Clothesline by Kratos there. Misses clothesline as Khal Drogo off the ropes. A back body drop by Kratos. And spinebuster by Kratos there at Khal Drogo. And now Kratos, oh god, has him up for the Blades of Chaos! And he nails it. Now go for a cover is Kratos. 1, 2, and Poseidon breaks it up. And freaking Khal Drogo just runs into him like a freaking battering ram again. Clothesline! Taking Kratos' head off by Khal Drogo there. Dragging from the ropes is Khal Drogo. Go for a cover and Kratos is Khal Drogo. 1, 2, and Kratos kicks out. And belly-to-belly suplex by Kratos to Khal Drogo. And Leonidas wants a tag. Really, Leonidas? He just runs right into Khal Drogo there. And now Khal Drogo has Kratos up for the Dothraki, which we haven't seen in months! And he nails it. And Poseidon takes up Leonidas. 1, 2, and Khal Drogo pins Kratos. And Westeros gets the win. The first match of the team together. Big win for Westeros. First time for teaming together in years. And they get the win. And I'm not counting them teaming together over on my AOT2 shows. Those don't count. Just making that note. But freaking Khal Drogo and Poseidon with a big win in their first match as a tag team in years. Outside of one of my other shows. And Kratos and Leonidas are probably going to be pissed about this loss. And you know it ain't over between these two. But the next match on this pre-show, because there's 4 matches, is Applejack taking on Starfire because she was livid about Pinky losing the Raven earlier in the week. Mostly because of Starfire. So Applejack demanded that match with Starfire. And it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And this is the next match before the main event of this pre-show, where Batman takes on Superman in a one-on-one contest. And I know I mentioned before about how AJ and Starfire were supposed to be facing on the show. I got that mixed up. They're going to be facing each other on the Halloween special. That's my bad. Here comes Batman just dancing his ass all the way to the freaking arena. The ring, I should say. And Batman, as you can tell, is confident that he's going to be able to beat Superman. But since he beat Flash, he beat Green Arrow, I believe. And he's about to take on Superman, who is the last member of the regime that he hasn't faced yet. Batman's been on a bit of a roll lately. If he manages to beat Superman, he will have beaten all 3 members of the regime on his own, surprisingly. Which would be big for Batman, and it would probably put him in contention for a title. What that title would be, who the hell knows. But that would be freaking cool if Batman was able to get the challenge for a title again. Since I think the last time he challenged for the title was like when he had that match for the hardcore title with Angela Winters and somebody else, I forget, to be completely honest. And here comes this douchebag, freaking Superman, the leader of the regime. Freaking, even though he hasn't really done anything, Superman was seen as a superhero around here for a longest time. And now he's made his intentions known that he wants to freaking, him and his group of cronies want to take over the company, run it freaking how he sees fit. It's like, well, Superman, you sure as hell ain't gonna be running anything freaking with how much you've been acting like a freaking jobber around here lately. But I don't know. Either way. Hopefully Batman can knock some sense into his ass with his pin-headed asshole. Who the hell knows? This isn't the first time Batman and Superman have faced each other. They freaking face each other in the Injustice games and in probably in other things. I think this is like one of the few times they've ever faced each other in a wrestling ring, but who the hell knows? This match is going to be interesting. Hopefully Batman doesn't die, even with Superman's powers being nerfed while he's in the ring. And let's get this one-on-one match underway between these two former friends. And Batman immediately on the offensive, just beating the shit out of Superman, which I'm not surprised of because he did that in the Batman v Superman movie. And Superman with a kick midsection and a suplex to Batman. This is Superman's first match in quite some time, by the way. And a Superman whipping Batman in the ropes. Drop toe hold by Superman. And a Superman, when they go behind on Batman, flips him over there. And now Batman with a headlock on Superman, who whips him in the corner. running shoulder tackle by Superman to Batman. And now Superman just slamming him down there in the corner. And now Superman whipping Batman in the corner again. And now Superman sending Batman shoulder first into the post there. And just slamming him down again. And I know Batman has a history of back problems thanks to Bane in the comic books, so freaking Superman's probably taking advantage of that. Batman kicking Superman off, and an arm drag by Superman there. Luther is pressed by Batman, who's just punching the shit out of this pin-headed asshole from Krypton. Comic reference. And now Batman with an armbar on Superman. Gutbuster to Superman there. Now Batman just beating the shit out of Superman there. Superman with a headlock on Batman, now gets whipped in the ropes. Another Luther's pressed by Batman, who just goes right back to punching the hell out of him, trying to knock some sense in this pinhead. A drop kick to the back of Superman by Batman there. Clothesline by Batman to knock down Superman there. And now Batman with a knee drop to Superman. And now Batman with an armbar on Superman. Knee to the midsection of Batman by Superman there. Clothesline takes him down. Clothesline by Batman takes Superman down. And now putting the boots to him there. So, kick the midsection of Batman by Superman. And now punches from Superman there. And now an armbar. And now Superman with a body slam to Batman there. And now Superman picking Batman back up. What the f... Freaking Overcastle much? Oh, whatever the hell that's called. Freaking Buff Bagwell's finisher. Shout out to Buff Bagwell. Oh, God. And now Superman going for the Krypton freaking punch. And he freaking nails the Kryptonite punch. Or Krypton punch, one of the two. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Batman kicks out. And Superman has Batman up for the Super Slam. And he nails it to Batman. And Superman dragging Batman away from the ropes. Don't for cover Superman. 1, 2, and Batman kicks out again. And now Superman with a headlock on Batman, who slips out of it and slams him face first into the ring. Weird how resilient Batman is, especially when he's fighting Superman. Freaking his fighting a dude who literally can't be hurt unless you use kryptonite on him. And Batman pretty much can 1v1 his ass. And Superman tossing Batman back in the ring. Now going for cover, Superman. 1, 2, and Batman kicks out again. And then Superman punches, and Batman blocks that one into an armbar. Now Batman has Superman up for his own version of the Super Slam to Superman. It's like turnabout's fair play, bitch. Going for cover. 1, only 1 count. Now Superman with the go behind, he is pissed. Suplex by Superman to Batman. Go for cover is Superman. 1, only 1 count. Batman kicked out again. And just more punches by Superman in a headlock. Headlock takeover there. And now Superman dragging Batman away from the ropes because of reasons, I guess. Now go for a cover is Superman. 1, 2, and Batman kicks out again. A headlock by Superman. And another body slam there, just throwing Batman down and a knee drop. Another front flip neck breaker there by Superman to Batman. And now Superman with an armbar on Batman. Body slam Batman there by Superman. And now trying to go for a submission, working on Batman's already fucked up back. Thanks a lot, Bane. And Batman taps out to the submission from Superman. Because unfortunately, like I said, he has freaking back problems. Thanks to Bane from a while back. Superman beats Batman in this pre-show match. And of course, Superman's going to be bragging about that. Thinking him and the rest of the regime are going to probably be celebrating this win. Especially since Batman's been embarrassing them for weeks. Freaking. Hopefully Batman isn't too badly hurt, especially in his back. And hopefully eventually at some point Batman can come back and get some payback in Superman for this loss. The next match is the main event of this pre-show, where Virgil King takes on Cookie Monster. And hopefully Cookie Monster gets his head kicked off. Because Lord knows he deserves it, freaking cookie-loving dick. Superman is going to be celebrating like no tomorrow because he fought and he got a win over Batman. Legit for once. Freaking asshole. And here comes the best in the street. A former hardcore champion, former intergalactic champion, mother effing Cookie Monster. And one of the best singles wrestlers from the Mag Nation back in the day. And a former tag team champion in TAW. With Elmo. Freaking Cookie Monster. Was hoping that if he can get past Virgil, he's hoping that he can actually start challenging for titles again. Because he's that self-confident with himself that he should be the one competing for the world title. Or the global title. Or pretty much any singles title that there is in the company that isn't the junior heavyweight title for obvious reasons. Cookie Monster first has to get past Virgil if he can, but I wish him luck with that. Cookie Monster wants to impress Darkseid. So as does the rest of the Unwashed. Weirdly enough, the Unwashed have been weirdly quiet since they did that whole promo a while back. They haven't really been up to anything, but Cookie Monster sure as heck has been up to some shit with this issue with Virgil's happened. But the Unwashed have pretty much stayed out of it since, which is weird for them. But I know they've been hanging around, I just haven't seen them in a while. And Loki, Darkseid was pissed at Loki for losing the Tournament of Glory, I know that. The rest of the group has had to pay for it. And this is the main event of the pre-show of New Beginnings 3. The grudge match between Virgil King, the oldest of the King's family, and freaking Cookie Monster, the best in the street. The reason why this match has been happening is that Virgil, after unsuccessful being able to help Viva La Pollution defeat and disband the Unwashed, since they were the ones that took him out like forever ago, and Final Hunt, Virgil is on a warpath and is on a mission to destroy the Unwashed by himself with no help. Because Virgil's ego apparently will not allow him to have anybody help, even his own family members. So, the first one he challenged was Cookie Monster, since Cookie Monster is the only other member of the Unwashed faction besides Darkseid that was there at the end of the 7v7 match Virgil was in. And freaking Virgil has targeted Cookie Monster as his first opponent to eliminate when it comes to the Unwashed members. And Virgil is determined to beat Cookie Monster, and these two have been brawling with each other repeatedly in the backstage area. And it's just freaking crazy. And this will be Virgil's first singles match quite some time. And Virgil usually doesn't wrestle very often, even before the whole thing was Unwashed. And losing to Xavius at the first Final Hunt. But Virgil still intimidates the ever-living crap out of me. This dude is scary. And he's the one that taught Xavius and Xander and Zarina everything they know about wrestling. And some other things that I'm not allowed to talk about. Freaking. I would not want to be Cookie Monster right now having to fight this guy. That's for sure. And let's get this pre-show main event underway between these two. And calling it with type to start off. Sean McCarthy's going to be happy somewhere about that. Cookie Monster with a headlock on Virgil. And a neck breaker to Virgil there by Cookie Monster. Dual chop there, and a pair of kicks. And Mr. Enziger there, Cookie Monster there. And a DDT to Cookie Monster by Virgil. And now Virgil with a Russian leg sweep. The Cookie Monster there. And now Virgil with another suplex to Cookie Monster. And Virgil is pissed, and he takes his anger and frustrations out on Cookie Monster. Now another collar tie between two. Into an armbar by Virgil. And now Virgil whipping Cookie Monster into a sidewalk slam. And a headlock by Virgil and Cookie Monster. Reverses her into a Russian leg sweep. And the Cookie Monster with a neck breaker to Virgil there. And I think Virgil was trying to go for some running attack there. But kicking midsection to Cookie Monster by Virgil. Whoops him in the ropes. Punch the face. And now Virgil, whooping Cookie Monster into the corner. Misses the close on this. Cookie Monster moving out of the way. DDT to Virgil by Cookie Monster. Shot to the back of Virgil there by Cookie Monster. And now Virgil getting suplexed by Cookie Monster. And now Cookie Monster with a headlock on Virgil. Elbow to the face of Cookie Monster there. Heel kick there. Indoor drop kick by Cookie Monster. Virgil. Now getting knocked in the corner as Virgil. Just whipped him in the corner. Other corner is Cookie Monster. Knees to the face of Virgil there by Cookie Monster. And the Cookie Monster with an armbar on Virgil. Whoops him into the corner again. Misses the kick there. And now Cookie Monster whooping Virgil into the corner. Misses the knees that time. DDT by Virgil the Cookie Monster. And now Virgil getting flipped over by Cookie Monster there. And now Cookie Monster with repeated elbows to the shoulders of Virgil. And now Cookie Monster with just a kick to the back of Virgil as well. And now Cookie Monster with a go behind into a Russian leg sweep to Virgil there. Now Cookie Monster with another kick to the lower back of Virgil. And now Cookie Monster with an armbar and a clothesline to Virgil there by Cookie Monster. And now Cookie Monster with a suplex into the Falcon Era. Shades of Seth Rollins into CM Punk. Now Cookie Monster with a kick to midsection of Virgil. Whoops him in the corner. Shot to the back of Cookie Monster there by Virgil. And Virgil with a suplex to Cookie Monster. And now Cookie Monster with a punch to Virgil there. And Virgil just shoving him down there. Headlock by Virgil and Cookie Monster. Elbow to the face. Kick to midsection as well. And now Cookie Monster has Virgil up for the GTS. A Cookie Monster dragging Virgil away from the ropes. Going for a cover is Cookie Monster. 1, 2, and Virgil kicks out. Thank God. A dual chops and more kicks by Cookie Monster to Virgil. He blocks the punch there and nails him with one of his own into a go behind. Drop kick to the back of Virgil by Cookie Monster. Another DDT. And now Virgil with a rake to the eyes of Cookie Monster. And a DDT of his own. And now Virgil with a freaking choke slam to Cookie Monster there. Going for a cover. And he was by the ropes. And now Virgil has Cookie Monster up for a tombstone pile driver. And he nails it, busting up Cookie Monster somehow. Now dragging Cookie Monster away from the ropes is Virgil. Pin him, Virgil. Going for a cover. 1. Only have 1 count because he took a sweet ass fucking time. And now Virgil with an armbar on Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster reversed it into a headlock. A knee to the face of Virgil there by Cookie Monster. And now another armbar by Cookie Monster. And the gut buster to Virgil. And Virgil just shoves him off. Jumping clothesline by Virgil there. Now Virgil picking up Cookie Monster. And now Virgil going for his version of old school Shades of the Undertaker. And he nails old school to Cookie Monster there. And just slams him against the ring. Most useless move in wrestling there. Now Virgil dragged Cookie Monster away from the ropes. Going for a cover. 1. Only 1 count. And Cookie Monster blocked the kick, punch there and nailed him with one of his own. And now Cookie Monster trying to go for a submission on Virgil. You know why Virgil's tapping out to this. And Virgil gets out of it, thankfully. Now Cookie Monster picking Virgil back up. Kick the midsection of Virgil by Cookie Monster. Go behind. And now Cookie Monster with a suplex to Virgil. And Virgil with a rake to the eyes of Cookie Monster. Misses the jumping clothesline. And just put more punches and a big boot to Cookie Monster there by Virgil. And a chin breaker by Cookie Monster to Virgil. And a Cookie with a punch and a kick there. Whoops him in the corner. Shot the midsection by Cookie Monster to Virgil. Sets him on the top turnbuckle. Oh God. And now Cookie Monster punched the face. Now Cookie Monster with a superplex to Virgil from the top turnbuckle. Oh, jeez. And there's freaking Johnny Cage and Sub-Zero, the Unwashed. And I literally just mentioned them about how they hadn't seen the Unwashed members besides Cookie Monster in quite some time. Freaking, and now Sub-Zero is sliding a chair in the ring, and Cookie Monster's beating the shit out of Virgil with a chair. Fucking, these big gaggle of assholes, I swear to God. Oh, jeez. And now Johnny Cage and Sub-Zero finally fucked off. And now Cookie Monster's going to the outside of the ring and grabbing another chair. He's gonna try and break freaking Virgil's ankle, and he literally just got back. What the frick? There's Xavius! Virgil's brother, who's had issues with in the past, and these two settled those issues a couple of years ago. I don't know if these two have still been good or anything, but now Xavius is beating the shit out of this freaking Muppet asshole. And Xavius just throwing Cookie Monster out of the ring. Get fucked, you freaking cookie-loving bastard. Freaking Christ. What a way to end the freaking pre-show.